Tim Reha here with Rick Spur from Zixcorp.
Hello, Tim.
Beautiful day out.
Gorgeous day. We should be out there instead of here.
Well, lunch is going on right now, but we're going to get our interview in because we had an excellent conversation about your background with IBM and really pioneering the service model, which became a billion-dollar business within the IBM global service group, right?
Yes, sir. We did that. I was group director of a group in Asia that piloted that in 1989 and 1990 for Asia initially, which then came over to the U.S. and now has grown into what is global services.
And we've really watched in the last 5 to 8 years software service model coming out, and Zixcorp has basically 2 models that you're rolling out right now.
That's correct. We have 2 hosted platform technologies that we deliver in a software as a service model, which we think is critical to high reliability, high responsiveness, and security in our case. One of those provides end-to-end persistent encryption of emails and associated attachments and brings the power of the internet to the financial services sector, healthcare, and government, where otherwise many of the workflows are restricted because of a lack of security.
And they have laws like HIPAA in the healthcare space. You have to have policy, security policy, or you can be sued.
That's exactly right. There is, within HIPAA legislation, there's a term called personal health information, and it's the existence of an identity, a social security number, or a name, coincident with the mention of an ailment. If that exists, for example, in an email or an attachment, it is illegal to put that out on the internet. People, of course, do that inadvertently in the resolution of healthcare issues having to do with insurance, care coordination. We put a content filter in the network at a hospital or an insurance company and look at all the email and can identify when there's personal health information in the mail. We then encrypt it and deliver it through our processes, through our systems, safely and securely to the intended recipient.
So that sounds pretty scalable across a number of different business verticals and markets.
In the long term, we could keep picking very highly secure applications in a whole variety of verticals and apply this hosted model and our core competency to implement those in a scalable way.
And you have clients now. What stage is the company?
So our email business is now over 5 years old. And in the financial services sector, we recently, in the last 18 months, just finished getting as customers all of the FFIEC regulators that regulate all the financial institutions in the United States. That includes the FDIC, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, the Office of Thrift Supervision, etc. And we now have over 400 banks and credit unions that use the service. In fact, we added 75 in just this past quarter over a 90-day period, so we feel like the flywheel's moving. Then in healthcare, which we've really been at longer than finance, we boast 29 of the Blue Cross Blue Shield companies, Cigna, Humana, and over 900 hospitals that use this service. What we do is we create identities for senders and receivers and use that unique identity and allow new customers and new entrants to share the directory of entities to send seamless mail. So we have the Metcalfe law going on here with an exponential value in the system as new users are added. We have 8 million identities in the system today, and we're now adding them at 50 to 60,000 a week.
That's a lot of people.
That's very
so
exciting for us.
And it's sold per. How's the product sold, and who's the actual buyer?
Yeah, it's a good question. So a hospital, for example, would be the buyer, and they would pay us based upon the number of senders whose email they want to protect. And it's a recurring annual fee. So if they'd sign up 1,000 people who will be sending these sensitive emails, we'd get so much per sender per year.
Rick, tell me about the e-prescribing business.
Thank you. So that's our second platform technology that we host, and it allows a physician in a normal setting, outpatient setting, pediatric, primary care kind of guy, to prescribe medicine using a PDA or a handheld device.
So currently they would run to the computer after they visit you, and then you would get prescribed something after the fact? What's the current situation?
So the way it works today, Tim, it's very antiquated. Most docs in the United States pull out a pad, and they take their pen and scribble stuff on it, and that's a prescription, and they hand it to you. and you carry it to the pharmacy.
And you've got no other instructions on. Here you go.
First of all, the Institute of Medicine published that there's 1.5 million medication errors a year.
Yeah. People take the wrong dosage.
7,000 deaths. The pharmacist can't read oftentimes what's been scribbled, right? The wrong dosages get served up. Now, you or I have been in these doctor's offices. The phones are ringing off the hook. A lot of that's the pharmacist calling, going, "What are you doing here?" Obviously, if you automate all that, you put accuracy and speed in the system, and you create a lot of efficiencies at both ends. So we get. Now, there's more to it. Once I know you're the patient, the doc types in the first 3 letters of your last name, I start to compile a patient medication history for you, that doctor may not necessarily have visibility to. I also go see if you have insurance, and if so, what the coverage is.
Yeah.
And when he then goes to prescribe the medicine, we will make sure there's not a counterindication with some other drug you've taken. If there is, we, of course, alert him. And the other thing we do is give him guidance as to whether that's the best choice, given your insurance. And so if there's a generic available, we'll say, hey, why don't you prescribe this instead? So the idea is to provide real-time, patient-specific decision support at the point of care.
With the insurance companies paying for the device.
Them paying for the whole setup. Why they do that is because by they can change the behavior of the doc, resulting in lower costs, primarily for pharmaceutical, and higher patient safety and better patient care, all of which results in savings to the insurance company. Now that's the tactical thing. We use e-prescribing as, I'd call it, the killer app, something the doctor uses every day and is of high use. Once we get that electronic platform in place, now we can leverage that platform for all sorts of messaging. And the insurance companies can message based on...
So this is your beachhead.
This really is just a foot in the door, and then it gets much broader.
Okay.
The gentleman from Intel yesterday mentioned that there's a $1.9 trillion spend on healthcare in the United States.
And it's just going up with
the aging population, with the ever-increasing number of drugs, ever-increasing cost of healthcare. So how do we arrest that, is the challenge. And it's said that 70% of those decisions, that spend, is influenced by doctors' decisions. So if we can stick a device in the hand of a doctor every day in an outpatient setting, we can go a long way toward reducing those costs and improving patient safety.
Fantastic. Rick from Zixcorp, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Tim. It was great. Appreciate your help.